What is going on, guys? Welcome to Greggles TV Daily Rewind. It's where we go back a week, give you all of your tech news stories in one single video so you don't have to go back and search and look. Everything's just combined into one single video. And this week, we can talk about some information about the Galaxy Z Fold 3 that might blow your mind in terms of making you want to either upgrade from the Z Fold 2 or even buy it for the first time because of better design, it's thinner, better battery life, brighter display. We've got information on the Galaxy Z Flip 2 battery and so much more news, guys. So check out this week. Let me know what your favorite news story is of the week, and I'll see you in the next one. We have one single story today, but I think you're going to be excited about it because I know I am, and it has to do with the Galaxy Z Fold 3 phone that I know a lot of you guys are super stoked about. Reason being because there should be some S Pen support built into this phone. But beyond that, we've spoken about over the last few weeks about the Galaxy Z Fold 3 having a potentially lighter, smaller, better design. And we have some information on how they're going to accomplish that. And we're getting that information not only from Korea, but also through Mr. DSCC, Mr. Ross Young. So I'll link the article that this is pulled from directly down below. It gets pretty technical, but he does in the first couple of paragraphs break down, in layman's terms, what's going to go on. So let's check this out. This tweet comes from Ross Young, like I said. He says, new insights on how Samsung will remove the polarizer in the Galaxy Fold 3, quantifying, meaning it's going to get better, brightness improvements, power saving, and thickness reduction. And when we go to his said article, it breaks down that Samsung is going to be removing and using polarizer-less displays, which they're going to call pol-less OLEDs. And by eliminating the polarizers in the AMOLED displays for the Galaxy Fold 3, again, it will allow them to get brighter displays, better power savings overall, so you should have better battery life, and the thickness of the display is going to be much reduced as well. And what are they going to do in order to help with glaring, that the polarizer would have done? They're coming out with new technologies, and he breaks it down with a black rather than transparent pixel definition layer that was previously not disclosed will now play an important role in closing reflective performance with polarizers, a newly added color filter, and a newly added black matrix. And they show a little pol-less AMOLED structure of how this is going to all work. And by doing that, again, removing the polarizers and creating this newer technology to kind of replace that, it's going to allow the Galaxy Z Fold 3 to be lighter, to have better power savings, and to have a brighter display overall, which are all good things and all things that we've heard about thus far. And the other thing to remember about the Galaxy Z Fold 3 is that it should have an under display camera on that main display, hopefully on the outside display as well, but definitely on that main display. 120 hertz, should have a Snapdragon 888 or 888 plus of some sort on there. And then better cameras. This phone's looking like a beast. Very excited about this. Q3 2021, so you're probably looking at July, August timeframe in terms of a release date. So we're hopefully, again, just months away from this being in our hands. Let's get into the tech news. We have two stories for you today. Let's jump into the first one, which is gonna be all about Google's next Pixel Buds. These are gonna be budget Pixel Buds, and they're going to be called the Pixel Buds A. Now, if you remember, their phones have 4A, 5A, things like that. So they're going to have, these are going to be budget. I assume they're probably going to be in the $100 to $129 price range versus the Pixel Buds that are the current ones that are out that are $179. In terms of what they're going to look like, they're going to look identical to what we have with the Pixel Buds, the regular ones now. The big difference is going to be color. We'll have a white one and a green one. The white one will be completely white everywhere on the buds, the case, everywhere, whereas the ones that are out now have white and black. So that's really going to be the big differentiating factor in terms of what they have versus what the ones that are out now have. We don't know, but we'd assume something, right? Or maybe they'll keep what they have with the Pixel Buds A and the Pixel Buds and keep them the same and then release a better version. So that would be the differentiating factor. But regardless, that's what we're looking at for the Pixel Buds. And it is about a folding phone put out by Xiaomi. They announced it today. It's actually up for pre-order very soon in China, and it's only going to be released in China. But this phone is a foldable phone, and I absolutely love foldable phones. This is the future, I think, of mobile phones. So let's check this thing out and talk about it. So some of the detailed specs on it, obviously one of the big ones is going to be the size of the display. So the main inside display will come out to be 8.01 inches and have a 60 hertz refresh rate. Obviously it's a little low for the refresh rate, but it does have that big 8-inch display inside. The outside display will have a 6.52 90 hertz AMOLED displays on both of these. So that's, it's nice. At least they have that going for it. Also, the resolution for the inside display will be 2480 by 1860 with 600 nits of brightness. So a little low on the nits there as well. The outside display has a 2540 by 840 resolution display, 27:9 aspect ratio on the outside, and on the inside a 4:3 aspect ratio. The hinge design of this phone is 27% lighter versus other foldables already on the market. You're gonna get quad speakers by Harman Kardon on here, so you should have really, really good sound, which is amazing. 4 speakers on a phone. Again, that's pretty crazy. You're looking at a Qualcomm Snapdragon 888 processor inside with Wi-Fi 6, LPDDR5 RAM, UFS 3.1 storage, and you're gonna be looking at variants of 12 gigabytes of RAM and 16 gigabytes of RAM, along with 256 gigabytes of storage and 512 gigabytes of storage, respectively. The battery inside will be 5020 milliamps, and you'll be able to charge 67 watt fast charging. So you can fully charge this phone from 0 to 100 in 40 minutes. That's right, 40 minutes complete charging. The cameras will have a 108 megapixel liquid lens telephoto and 123 inch ultra wide Xiaomi developed Surge C1 ISP. So this should have really, really nice cameras alongside with this phone. Starting price on this will be $1,520. So it kind of is expensive, but not as expensive as some of the other foldables on the market. I would love to get my hands on this phone. It's only coming out in China. I'm gonna try to get it. Maybe they can send it out to me. I can do a bunch of videos on it, but I don't know. It's looking like a beast. Obviously the 60 hertz is a little bit of a letdown, but everything else is pretty exciting about the phone. First story of the day is a deal for the Galaxy Tab S7, an excellent deal, the lowest price we've seen on this specific tablet yet, and it's on Amazon. So if you have Amazon, check this one out. Only $629.99, so it's taking $200 off the price. You're getting the 512 gigabyte version of this tablet. Now remember, this is the one with the LCD display, not the AMOLED display. So if that's a big deal to you, keep that in mind, but you're still gonna get a very well-performing tablet overall with S Pen compatibility. Link down below if you want to take advantage of this sweet deal. Next up, you can see from this tweet, Ice Universe is saying that the Samsung's latest update has added 3 times portrait mode. So let's take a look at the samples. When we take a look at it, basically what he's talking about is when you go into the camera after you get the April update, if you end up getting the, if you've gotten the April update already and it comes with this, you'll launch your camera, and when you go into portrait mode right here, instead of having just 2 for ultra wide, main, you'll also have the last one as well, which will zoom in way further and allow you to still get portrait mode. So it's gonna have a cool little feature to be able to get portrait mode, but be super, super close up in terms of what you're looking at, potentially get an even better photo. Again, this will be, and it should be, with the April update with some of the Galaxy phones. Last story of the day is about the phone I'm most excited about, the Galaxy Z Fold 3. Now, we've done a story on this before with the colors of the Galaxy Z Fold 3. Those will be black and green. Well, we got some more information on a third color coming to the Galaxy Z Fold 3 line. And I don't know, I might be into this. I might be, we'll see. But here it is. This information is coming from Galaxy Club. And they say here, as you can see, the Galaxy Z Fold 3 colors will be black, green, and beige. So that beige color will also be on the Z Flip 2 as well. But beige overall, I mean, I guess it's probably going to look similar to what we got with the Galaxy Z Fold 2 with that kind of bronzish color. I would assume it's going to be fairly similar to that. So don't expect a crazy different looking color that you've never seen before. At this point though, I think I'd still have to go green at this point. Maybe the black. If the black's like completely matte, maybe. And then to break it down again, it doesn't even matter. I'm gonna have a freaking case on. I have a case on all of my phones. So what's the difference anyway? The only part I'm gonna see is the camera cutout. And if that's black anyway, what's the big deal? Let's get into the tech news. First story of the day is about the Samsung Galaxy Smart Tags Plus. Remember, the Smart Tags are already out. You can buy them right now. I think they're like, if I remember correctly, like 20 bucks, 30 bucks for a 1-pack. Well, what about the Smart Tags Plus? When are those gonna come out? How much are they gonna be? And what's gonna be the difference between those and the Smart Tags? Let's talk about it. This is coming directly from the B&H website. And B&H is saying that they're gonna come out April 12th. So just a handful of days from now, 12 days from now. And they're gonna be 40 bucks. And the big thing on here is that they're gonna have ultra wideband and AR location built into the app when you use it, as well as Bluetooth. It requires a SmartThings app just like they do, and you can track pets or devices or objects or even a Galaxy phone. So the big thing, like I said, would be that ultra wideband and AR location. So what you would do is you would open up that SmartThings app, and on your phone, wherever your device is that has that little Smart Tags Plus, it'll actually potentially show you arrows exactly where to go. It's gonna be a lot more precise than the Bluetooth that's in the Smart Tags only. So if you're waiting for this one, this might be the one to get. Even though it's gonna be a little bit more expensive, it'll be way more precise in finding things for you. But I mean, if you have the other one, I don't know if I would upgrade. I mean, let's be honest. I have one on my key. I've used it like once or twice, which is handy, but I haven't used it that much. It's still good to have. It's a good little, safety protection to have if I lose my keys. But this one, again, if you don't have one, I'd probably wait for this one. April 12th release date. And the last story of the day is all about the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 2. As you know, this phone is ultra expensive to the point where it's $2,000 to purchase one. It's the most expensive phone that I can think of that Samsung currently sells, and it might be a phone you're dying to get. Well, there's some light at the end of the tunnel for this phone now. It could be because it's, whatever, a few months into its release cycle, 6 months or so, more than that it's been out. It could be that they're just looking to lower the price, but you heard me just say that. They look like they have permanently lowered the price of the Galaxy Z Fold 2. They haven't done this in America just yet, but in South Korea, they have reduced the price of the Galaxy Z Fold 2 by $500, making it about $1,500 to purchase currently. And it being permanent, you would think that this would probably hit other locations as well. Now, South Korea, that's probably one of their bigger markets. It's probably a market that they're very famous in because they're a Korean company. So why wouldn't they be big with the Korean people? I think we're gonna see this. I think you're gonna see a $500 price drop with the Galaxy Z Fold 2, permanent, brand new devices. It makes sense. The phone's getting a little bit older. And maybe by seeing this, the other part that makes me think that maybe the Galaxy Z Fold 3 won't be as expensive as we're expecting. I'm still expecting it to be $2,000, but if this one's $500 less, maybe the Galaxy Z Fold 3 will be $1,800 or $1,900 or somewhere in that range. We have our first story about the next Pixel phone, the Pixel 6, and it's going to change in a major way. And I'm not talking about a foldable phone, because that is one of the rumors that's going around, as Pixel's going to come out with a foldable phone later this year. It's not that, but this will affect the Pixel foldable phone as well. Check this out. This tweet is coming from XDA. XDA is saying the Pixel 6 may use a Google-made chip instead of a Qualcomm processor, and they go in a little bit deeper, Michelle Rahman says, Doubtless has shown up in the Chromium Garrett, where it's referred to as GSC, which I assume means Google Security Chip. It could thus be a universal security chip for Chromebooks and Android. Google is working on a Dauntless-equipped phones, which I assume are the next Pixels. He also said, I've now seen evidence that corroborates Google's next Pixel phone will run on GS101. It'll have a 3-cluster setup with a TPU and something called Dauntless, which seems related to integrated Citadel Titan M security chip. What does this mean? I think it's actually pretty big. So this means that they're not going to use Samsung, they're not going to use Qualcomm, and that they're making their own processing chip internally. So this potentially could help with not having the phones not leak as much. This could help massively with performance, with price. Those are the major things that you hopefully will see with this. Apple basically makes their own chips for the most part, or at least comes up with the design or half of the design. Samsung has their own chips. Qualcomm obviously makes chips for almost every phone. I'm excited about this. I'm hoping that it does the two things. I hope that they can keep their prices low but have really well-performing chips. We're only, a handful of months away before we have our next Pixel phone in hand, and it might have this new GS101 processing chip. Last story of the day, we kind of talked about this yesterday. Galaxy Z Fold 2 in South Korea has a permanent price drop of $500. It looks like America, USA, also got a price drop, not as significant as $500, but a pretty darn good permanent price drop as it looks right now. So as you know, the Galaxy Z Fold 2 is $1999 on the regular, but now with no trade-ins, nothing, just a $200 price drop, it drops it down to $1,799. So that's actually not too bad of a discount on this phone. $200 off now that you can get it brand new directly from Samsung in black or bronze, or if you want to wait a little bit longer, you can get in one of those custom hinged colors as well. Now you can get it for as little as $11.99 if you do a trade, and one of the more recent phones. So that's not that bad either. So for $11.99 you can get a Galaxy Z Fold 2 with trade-in, or if you don't want to trade anything in, you can get it for $17.99 with no trade. It's just straight up buy. Let's get into the tech news. First story of the day is about the Samsung Galaxy S21 Fan Edition, also known as the S21 FE. Now, a lot of you guys I know got and liked the S20 FE, and this one is going to be kind of similar. You should still probably end up getting that 1080p plus 120 hertz display. You also get a 32 megapixel front-facing camera. You should also end up getting on here a phone with a higher end processor, probably like the Snapdragon 888, just like you got the 865 on the previous generation. Now, let's talk about the colors that you're going to potentially see on this phone. So this should be the colors that you end up seeing on here, which will end up being a lighter blue, a violet / purple, a white color, and then also a greenish color on here. It might not look exactly like this, but those should be the colors that you see, which are kind of similar to what we got with the S20 Fan Edition. And again, this phone should come out towards the end of 2021. Last story of the day is all about the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 2. Now, this will be the third type generation of this phone. We've had the Galaxy Z Flip, which was a LTE version, and then we have the Galaxy Z Flip 5G. They're gonna call the third generation of this the Galaxy Z Flip 2. We're gonna talk about the battery size that you're gonna get, potentially, most likely, inside of this version of the phone. So let's get to it. So you're gonna end up getting 2 batteries inside of the phone, but it's still kind of going to be small overall. So the batteries inside will be 2300/2370 milliamp battery. That'll be the first battery, and then the second battery inside there will be 903 milliamps. So overall, you're looking at about 3,300 milliamp battery total size for the Galaxy Z Flip 2. So it's a little unsettling / not very great that it's gonna have a similar battery size to what its previous phones have had. And when you look at the Galaxy Z Flip 2 having 5G and also probably 120 hertz display, you're looking at battery life that's not, I would assume, not going to be very impressive. Let's get into the tech news. We have one story today about the iPhone 13 line of phones, and we've got some information on the phones that potentially will probably make you happy, and that is that the notch will get smaller, and we know how much smaller as well, and we have a mock-up of what it's going to look like. So let's jump into how small and what the ultimate design changes up there with the notch will be for the iPhone 13 series. So before we jump into that 3D printout of the iPhone 13 Pro, here's the iPhone 13, 13 Pro, and 13 Pro Max shown off in their glory, showing off the smaller notch. And this is just a front glass reveal of the smaller notch with the airpiece relocated to the top bezel instead of it kind of being in the middle. It's now going to be above the notch instead of inside of the notch. But let's now jump into that 3D printout of the iPhone 13 Pro. So this would be the 6.1 inch iPhone 13 Pro. It's not going to be the Pro Max, but ultimately it should have a very similar design. So the notch that you see printed out there, the big thing takeaway from this is that the notch will be taller. That's right, taller on the iPhone 13 versus the iPhone 12. So you're looking at 5.35 millimeters in height versus 5.30 millimeters. So really, it is basically the same, but you know, it's 0.05 millimeters taller now. The width is going to be the big change here. So the width on the 12 Pro is 34.83 millimeters, but on the iPhone 13 Pro, it's going to go down to 26.80 millimeters. So it's going to be quite a substantial change in terms of the size of it, the width of it. The width is going to be a lot less now on the iPhone 13 Pro and series of phones. And also beyond that, with the iPhone 13 series of phones, you can expect the A15 processor, which will be a faster processor. You're looking at ProMotion 120 hertz display, and then also better cameras overall. And speaking of cameras, they should look identical, at least in the setup of the cameras, on the back of the phone for you. And then on the front, I should have mentioned, the camera has also been moved over to the left a little bit rather than to the right with the new iPhone 13 series of phones. So what do you guys think about the iPhone 13 series of phone? Is this smaller notch enough for you to purchase the phone, or do you still think they need to get rid of it? I love Face ID on the iPhones. Actually, kind of think I like it better than the fingerprint sensors now. You don't have to touch the phone, and the phone's always in my hand anyway, so to be able to just like hold it up real quick and get it unlocked and not have to touch the phone, oh, it's pretty cool. So it doesn't really bother me. And then once you use it, again, the notch doesn't really get in the way. You kind of forget about it, just like you do with the little hole on the hole of it, you know, on the screen itself with phones. So let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. We'll see you down the road.